Hey. So, the audio may be a bit off. Trying to shift things around, and we will see. We shall see. Anyways, this will be my 28th podcast, I believe. Right? Something. Anyways, you'll notice some numbers are missing. That's because various platforms have decided to take some down. Now, yeah, I know that sucks. But it is what it is. But let's go ahead and get started. And I've got an intro that relates to the first topic. Don't forget that credit score. Now, see, I got a mic. However, I need a longer cord to reach my fucking tower. And it's just, I'll get to it. I will. Until then, we're making do with this. We'll see how well that works. Now, the first topic that I would like to talk about is taxes. Everybody loves taxes, except for the people that don't. And the United States famously rebelled because of taxation without representation. Now, the taxes that they were rebelling against, compared to modern times, not so bad. But I digress. Whether you are in Canada, where you're being taxed to death, or if you are living in a state that taxes you for soda, or pop, or soda pop, whatever you prefer calling it. There's always been a million weird taxes. A lot of people talk about the beard tax that Russia imposed, right? So, dude wanted to modernize the Russian people. You notice that fuckers did not have beards in the European countries, whereas Russians had big fucking bushy beards. So, a tax. You had to buy the right to wear a beard to encourage people to, give up the beards and make a little money. Well, the Romans, long before that, they had their own stupid tax. That's right, the Roman P tax. Now, we all talk shit, what are they going to tax now? What are they going to tax now? Well, nothing is sacred to politicians when it comes to taxing, except for their own income, actually. But if you can measure it, you can tax it. And that is how the Roman P tax came into play. Now, around the 1st century AD, the Roman tax on urine apparently began with what everyone remembers as the fucking crazy dude that played a fiddle while Rome burned. Although that's not actually true. We don't know that he played the fiddle. But Nero of Rome. Now, not content with pissing off the Roman citizenry by spending their tax dollars on every luxury imaginable, he decided to squeeze just a little bit more. And not only is it smart, it's beneficial. If you're pissing everyone off, tax the piss, right? Now, before you imagine a coin-operated valves pierced into your personal parts, or morning chamber pots being weighed and measured by squeamish officials, this tax, in reality, was levied against urine used in the tanning industry. Yes. So, I know, clickbait. But still, taxing piss, it's pretty fun, right? See, you use urine to put onto animal hides while turning them into leather, right? So the P tax went out of favor and was discontinued, but that's okay. Bad ideas never die. They just get reelected with a different name. So Nero's successor, Vespasianus, found that Nero's wild spending, which, was pretty wild. Granted, he wasn't giving $40 billion to foreign countries, but, he definitely drained the royal coffers. Now, the citizenry of Rome, they're weird, right? They give you tax money, they expect you to build roads and, actually spend it on the people, not just, give it away. So dude needed some money, right? How does he keep things whirring without the cash? Well, you're going to have to tax more. So he brings back the P tax, right? Now, Titus was the son of Vespasianus, and the Roman historian Sueton records that teasing from his own son caused the emperor to wave a coin under his kid's name and said, "Pecunia non ole," money does not stink. Saying that, the money may come from a dirty place, but the money itself isn't dirty if you're doing clean things with it. I know, slightly misleading, but it's fun nonetheless. When you say tax on this, it sounds funny to me. All right. Now, I would like to read something from 4 minutes ago from r/advice. I want to avoid getting screwed by a recruiter. What should I know? I got an ex-wife that she banged her recruiter, but I don't think that's the screwed he's referencing. All right, so dude's almost graduated from college. Pilot certificate has been obtained, and he wants to fly for the military, primarily the Air Force, but any branch is acceptable. Well, probably not the Coast Guard. They don't really have that many pilots. They do helicopter. Anyways, what should I know about officer recruiters? How can I avoid getting screwed? What should I know before stepping foot in a recruiter's office? Well, first of all, you're doing the absolute right thing. Asking people. Your recruiter will lie. Now, I have my CDLs. I used to drive a truck. In fact, I was a truck driver before joining the Army. Now, I had been a military spouse. I had been a military brat. I have spent my life around the military. So I wasn't a fresh off the street, clueless person. And it amazed me at the bullshit lies that recruiters will say. This asshole actually came to me and said, well, if you go in as an 88 Mike truck driver, you don't have to go to AIT. You'll just go to basic training and go straight to your unit, and you'll be promoted to sergeant within 6 months. No, those are all lies. They're all complete fucking lies. No, you don't skip AIT. Sorry, you don't. If you are a registered nurse and you go to be a combat medic and you have your EMT license, you still go to AIT. You just get to miss the civilian course. That's all. You're still going to AIT. You got your CDLs? Yes, they will transfer over into the military. And yes, you will go to AIT. You just won't have to take the fucking test for your CDLs from a civilian. That being said, Your recruiters are going to lie. They will lie about things that, they will lie about things that are so fucking obvious. 10 minutes after actually showing up at your fucking training, you're like, what? Wait a minute. Yeah. Complete and total utter bullshit. Every recruiter lies. Some are just good at it, and some are just blatant as hell. I've heard some crazy shit from recruiters. Also, have you ever smoked marijuana? Have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? If there's no record of it, if you do not have a charge on your record for marijuana, when they say, have you ever smoked marijuana? No. If you can't prove it, it never happened. That's my advice to you. I hope that helps. I do hope that you have a storied and enjoyable time with your military service if you do choose to go that route. The Air Force is very, very strict on their weight, and they're very, very strict on actual job skills. Whereas in the Army, you may not be able to read a map, but if you can do enough push-ups and sit-ups, you got a better shot of getting promoted than someone that's skilled at their job. Stupid as it may be. And promotion boards in the Army are, did you memorize 670-1? Did you memorize this? Did you memorize that? If you just memorize a manual, then you can pass the promotion board. Generally, in my experience, no one asks someone who's going to be a new sergeant, hey, here's a question about leadership. If this is a situation you have with one of your young soldiers, what action would you take? No, they want you to spit out facts. They can be like, right, wrong. Disagree with the promotion setup. I think the Army should test you for your job. You should have to pass a PT test. Yes. You have to qualify your weapon. Yes. All of these things true. You should have some familiarity with the NCO handbook. Absolutely. But I think mostly, let's say you're a medic and you want to be a sergeant. Mostly, I would ask this potential NCO, what do you think is more important to train your men on? Trauma or sick call? Why? Now, what's the right answer? There isn't one. Well, trauma because if something happens. Gotcha. Or, well, I would say sick call because a majority of our issues are going to be sick call issues, keeping the unit running smoothly. Then, as we're preparing for a deployment, then we would focus more so on trauma. Sounds like a reasonable answer to me. You know, something where someone thinks about it. And yes, as a commissioned officer, you get to avoid a lot of bullshit, but you also don't have the opportunity to lead men. You have the opportunity to sign paperwork. Now, as a pilot, you won't have to worry about that as much. You'll be leading your equipment as opposed to men. Hope that's helpful. Now, here's a fun one. News article. Scientists have linked 5 bacteria types to aggressive prostate cancer, and this could potentially revolutionize treatment, right? Now, this is groundbreaking, and it's so fucking early that it's impossible to even, put too much money on this, but I have a fondness for having good treatment of cancer. Now, breast cancer is a very serious thing, and it's bad. And I have some loved ones and some fantastic people that have beat breast cancer. And I know some wonderful people who did not beat cancer. And I think it is wonderful how much awareness is put into breast cancer. And the NFL spent a whole month people wearing pink and doing things to, go get checked. Also, from personal experience, you have no family history of cancer, I don't care. Get checked anyways. It never hurts to get checked. Now, prostate cancer, for some reason, does not get much attention. And while I would never say that football should not talk about breast cancer, no. There are female football fans. They cheer for the Packers. And football fans that are male, they have moms and sisters or daughters, wives, unless they are Packers fans. Then they have husbands. And yeah, there is absolutely a good and valid reason to fucking throw out the pink and be like, yeah, breast cancer, let's fucking kick its ass. I think there's a missed opportunity, though, with prostate cancer. Prostate cancer is one that people are hesitant to get checked. You take a finger in the butt, and it's not pleasurable, in my experience, to give or receive a prostate exam, and many people are extremely hesitant. My personal experience, if you're going to get a prostate exam, I would advise you to, rather than bend over the table, to lay down on your side in a fetal position. It takes a lot of the pressure off. It's a little more comfortable, and you can put you don't have to make eye contact. You can put a reassuring hand on the shoulder, like, all right, lean forward a little bit. All right. And you can sort of, with your hand on their shoulder, adjust them to make things easier. But yes, I think the NFL should absolutely, during the month where they're attacking breast cancer, I think they should put forth some time and effort to discuss getting checked for prostate cancer. Testicular cancer obviously is a terrible, terrible thing. The reason why I focus on prostate cancer is because so many people are so hesitant to get it checked. At the very least, if you don't want the exam, at least get your PSAs. Please get checked. So, this is why I'm the rambling Doc J and not the precise, to the point Doc J. So, a link, now this is correlation, not necessarily causation, between bacteria and prostate cancer. University of East Anglia scientists identified 5 types of bacteria which were common in urine and tissue samples from men with aggressive prostate cancer. Now, does that mean the prostate cancer makes it more susceptible to the infection? That's a very, very real possibility. Does the bacteria or the infections increase the chance of cancer? That's a real possibility as well. And I would love to follow this path. Because if there really is some causation, then simple antibiotics, well, maybe not simple antibiotics, but antibiotics might be a way to prevent or possibly even treat this awful, terrible cancer. The presence of what are you doing walking up? Sorry. Of Helicobacter pylori bacteria in the digestive tract can lead to stomach ulcers and can be associated with stomach cancer, just as HPV can cause cervical cancer, and Michael Douglas believes it can cause throat cancer because, you know what, he's married to a beautiful Welsh younger lady and bragging about how often he goes down on her is, good for you, man. Be a little hesitant to be like, hey, going down on my wife caused cancer, because a lot of these women, they have enough trouble getting their husbands to go down. Just saying. If someone were to spread the word that women going down on dudes caused cancer, it'd just be one more excuse for us not to get head. Just saying. So can we find whether this bacteria can be linked to the way prostate cancer grows and spreads? Prostate cancer is responsible for a large proportion of all male cancer deaths. It is more commonly a disease men die with rather than from. The Norwich Medical School, Dr. Jeremy Clark explained. Little is known about what causes some prostate cancers to become more aggressive than others. We now have evidence that certain bacteria are involved in this and are part of the puzzle. Now, that's just fantastic. Now, is prostate cancer deadly as it is because it's such an aggressive cancer, or is it because people are so hesitant to have it checked? Well, I'm hoping it's just people not getting checked, because then we can just fucking really get those numbers down. That would make me very happy. Just like increase in women getting checked for breast cancer has led to more cases being found early, and it's awesome. Fuck cancer. Fuck you, cancer. And also, while speaking on the topic of cancer, fuck you, cancer. May we someday find a cure. Now, back to advice. This is a 31-minute, well, let's refresh. And it's been deleted. That's what I thought. Okay, the question was, should I drop out of high school and work a job at KFC? Simple answer is no. However, Sir Mercutio, a phenomenal advice giver, who's got a bunch of little icons next to his name, so I guess those are trophies, said, only if, by a miracle, you're the new CEO. So yeah, I'm going to side with that. So here's the thing. In order to graduate, you have to go to high school. Once you graduate, they can't take it away. If you drop out, you can't necessarily go back and graduate. You can get the GED, which is for many. I don't have one, so I can't speak on it. I can just say that I know many that say it is harder to get than actually graduating high school. And it's easier to just finish and then be like, man, I wasted my time. But hey, I got my job. As opposed to, man, now I got to go back and do something. It's easier to finish what you start than quit and come back to it. I've worked at KFC, and it was really a fun job. Uh, I'm not big on their food. I think they're expensive, but yeah, I thought it was a enjoyable job. Uh, wouldn't really look at it as a huge career opportunity, but not everything has to be a career opportunity. Uh, up until recently, all I did was bartend. Now I'm back in fucking healthcare. But hey, I do like helping people, which is why I'm reading these advice questions. But yes, I'm not saying if you drop out, it will ruin your life. I'm just saying it's a lot easier to get that diploma while you're there in school. All right. Next on the docket, and this actually has a segue following it, I want to talk about corn. Now, on my Murder of General Patton podcast, I discussed the Great Milk Conspiracy, which is not a conspiracy, it's fact. The milk lie our government told us. But now I want to talk about corn. Now, unlike Elizabeth Warren, I actually do have a large amount of Native American in me. Being pale and pasty mostly comes from the Scottish. I personally believe that the Washington football team should have changed their name a long time ago. I don't care if it's offensive or not. It's just wrong. It just comes down to you shouldn't have racial slurs as a name. Now, Seminoles, that's not negative. Cleveland Indians, I think it's geographically and incorrect, and whatever, but it's not offensive. Chiefs, that's not offensive. That's complimentary in many ways. Braves, all that. Redskins is one of the few times where I'm like, that's a fucking slur. Like, no. Apply that to any other group of people, pretty much, and people can be like, ooh, that's in bad taste. But I'm not one of those who, I hate Thanksgiving because the murder of the indigenous people. Native Americans have been screwed by this country and by Canada and by many, many places. The indigenous people generally do get screwed. Look at Australia. And yeah, I think Thanksgiving is a great time to honor the contributions Native Americans have made, and a great time to be thankful for all the wonderful things we have in our life. But mostly, it's time to eat pizza or nachos. I prefer nachos, but I can get people to side with me on the pizza one more. And watch some football. But one thing that we can say Native American gave us is corn. That's right. Now, corn's not bad. Actually, you can say a lot about it. Fucking shit grows easy all over, right? It's very easy to grow. It can be mass produced affordably, and it can be used to make a number of useful derivative products. Whiskey. Did God, in his infinite wisdom, mean for every living thing on this planet to eat corn as a part of every meal, every day, in mass quantities, from children to senior citizens to cow? No. But you may be thinking, not everyone does that. Ah, we're not talking about gnawing on an ear of corn here. Cornstarch is in practically every bread or pastry you can buy in every major chain grocery store. With a few scattered exception, every bread you buy anywhere has cornstarch. Syrup, cellulose are also used in every medicine that you put in your mouth, just about. And sugar. What do you mean sugar? Yes, sugar. See, when you look and you see corn syrup, that means sugar. Soda, cookies, candy bars, bags of sugar. I shit you not. You go and buy bags of sugar from the fucking store, and a lot of them have corn syrup in it, along with sugar. Ah, that's right. Corn syrup, starch, corn oil on French fries, peanut butter, saltine, steak sauce, table salt, margarine, iced tea, fruit juice, even the ones that claim to be 100% juice, raw honey, fish sticks, soy milk, wine, beer, liquor, chicken nuggets, flour, barley, caramel, vitamin C tablets, vanilla extract, vinegar, yeast, corn derived glycerin is found in almost every soap, lotion, toothpaste, and shampoo. And if you look at the ingredients of something, right? I can't pronounce that word. You know what? It's probably corn, right? Now, considering all this, you would think the corn industry would be a fiercely independent group of farmers who are sitting pretty on the fruits of their labor. No. The world leader is the U.S. corn industry, and they get $5.5 billion in federal subsidies. An ample amount is kicked back to politicians in the form of campaign contributions, thus perpetuating a system in which the national interests is heavily invested in creating more and more and more and more and more avenues in which corn is fed to an unsuspecting public. Now, amazingly enough, that's not where this ends. See, not satisfied with being the largest single component of the average American's diet, the corn industry genetically modifies its product without government supervision and distributes the end result to customers without labeling it. Genetically modified supercorn is now sweeping through much of North America like a certain bad guy from a certain war wanted the Aryan to sweep over Europe. See, genetically modified corn has already profoundly damaged Mexico's native wild strains of corn. Pretty soon, there will be no corn left for comparison purposes. Now, what's so bad about that? That means the only corn will be the corn that is made and created by this small group of people. I know. Now, sure, on the face of it, that's bad enough, right? But, you see, humans are omnivorous. We're not herbivores, we're not carnivores. As much as I try to be carnivorous, even I have to, take in the occasional non-meat product. Mostly aspartame. Phenylalanine. But because of that, the human digestive system does require a certain amount of variety, right? See, too much of the same thing is bad, especially when that thing corn is so undigestible that unprocessed kernels will pass untouched through your entire digestive system to emerge whole and unscathed in your poo-poo. That's right. In this paradigm, people are only a little better off than cattle because almost every chicken, pig, and cow in the United States is force-fed corn. Did you know the salmon you buy at the store is corn-fed? Fun fact, these animals can't actually digest corn. not to mention all the pesticides used to keep the corn bug free. So livestock get sick. So you got to treat that sickness with antibiotics and hormones that bleed into virtually every piece of meat or cup of milk served in America, making the people who consume them now digesting that. So if corn's not great for cows who have 3 stomachs, what is it doing to those of us with? Now, the corn lobby, yes, the corn lobby, is one of the most powerful in American politics. They don't want to see that question answered. Now, surprisingly, there's actually been little research done on the topic at our fine government-sponsored universities and research labs. So, actually, let's scratch little with no studies have been done covering the broad societal issue of corn. Now, there have been some independent studies done, and a little bit trickles out. And this information can be somewhat disturbing. The most obvious health effect of the corn glut is obesity. Granted, with a few exceptions, most people who are overweight have only themselves to blame, right? Not all. Yes, some are big boned and some have thyroid issues, but me, I'm not thin. I could be. I know this. My excess weight is my fault. Doesn't make me a bad person. Lots of things make me a bad person, but a little extra weight's not what makes me a bad person. So, that aside, we live in a world where the food industry spends millions of dollars marketing sugar, corn syrup, to preschoolers, right? We don't use sugar cane, no, we use corn syrup. Food manufacturers hire people with doctorates in child psychology to help them outsmart 4-year-olds and their parents. You can buy corn puffs coated with corn syrup made for kindergarten kids. The processed sugar game leads to its own complications, including hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia, and the symptoms of each of these disorders, interestingly enough, can be alleviated by eating more sugar. Much like the symptoms for heroin withdrawal can be treated by taking heroin. Now, drug guru Terence McKenna long argued that refined sugar easily fits the technical definition of an addictive drug. After all, it is harmful to your health. You suffer withdrawal symptoms if you quit using it. Nevertheless, heroin is bad, but extraneous sugar is included in food and medicine products aimed at 1-year-old children. That's right. It's even in the salads you get from many fast food places. Now, other possible effects of excessive corn consumption include diabetes related to the aforementioned hypoglycemia, heart disease, and yes, tooth decay. An unknown number of people additionally suffer from corn allergies. The reason the number is unknown is that it's difficult to remove all the corn from your diet to test the premise, especially if you have to eliminate corn-fed meat and corn-treated meat products. If you somehow succeed in doing so, you will find that you have incidentally removed virtually everything else from your diet as well. So what does the future hold? Well, more corn. The U.S. government is putting something on the order of $20 billion in farm subsidies every single year, the most concentrated portion of which goes to corn. That's right. Now, way back with the Bush administration, Health and Human Services Director Tommy Thompson, the overweight man purportedly in charge of keeping the nation healthy, told ABC News in 2003 that the gigantic corn subsidies don't affect nutrition for Americans. The subsidy programs are things that are done through Congress. He didn't complete that thought, so we'll do it for him. Naturally, anything done by Congress can't possibly have any effect on people. Am I right? So no, I'm not attacking corn. Just the fucked up shit people do with corn and the fucked up shit they make. And yeah. There's my little rant for the day. But from corn, let's go to tortilla shells. That's right. Students have solved the burritos problem. See, I like burritos. But when you eat burritos, they come open. And what I usually do is put a little cheese on there. When the cheese melts, it works like glue. Great. Now, students at Johns Hopkins University have created Tasty Tape, an edible adhesive. Now, Johns Hopkins is in Baltimore, and there's nothing good in Baltimore. So not to disparage Tasty Tape, I'm just highly questionable of anything that comes from Baltimore, for the record. It comprises of a food-grade fibrous scaffold and an organic adhesive that ensures ingredients in your wrap are kept tucked tightly inside during cooking and consumption, and it can be applied to any food, in tortillas, tacos, and gyros. That's right. Arby's, it's not a euro. It's actually hero, gyro. Yeah, not a euro. But I'm going to say gyro because it really offends people that work at the local Arby's. Now, first we learned about the science around tape and different adhesives. And then we found edible counterparts, says Tyler Garino, who teamed up with fellow engineering seniors Mary, Rachel, and Aaron on the subject. The team of chemical and biomolecular engineering students at Whiting School of Engineering tested a multitude of ingredients and combinations before settling on a final recipe, which is edible, safe, and has a tensile strength you can trust to hold together a fat-ass burrito. Now, because they are applying for a patent, they decline to disclose their secret formula, but all of the ingredients are safe to consume, food grade, and are common food and dietary additives. And as I covered in the previous topic, it's probably corn. Just is. Now, with that, I'm coming up on the 45-minute mark. I try when I'm somewhat not inebriated, try to do these around the hour mark. Well, so I would like to give a quick shout out to the last, let's see. I'll just go to history. I just saw something really cool channel, and while I can't play anything from the channel because it is music based, and that's a quick way to get fucking smacked. I just subscribed a few minutes ago to this channel, and it looks to be pretty cool. Boom. Now, basically, NVG Nick, he has, what got me watching was the rock bands. You take their first song, the song that blew them up, and their most popular song, right? So, Alice Cooper, 18's What Blew Up, most popular song, School's Out. But his first song, Nobody Likes Me, right? It's interesting to me. I think the guy puts a lot of effort into it. And I think if you're interested in that sort of thing, check this guy out. I'm sure he covers more than just that, but he's got that series, and that's what I was starting on before I decided to do a quick podcast. Now, with that being said, thank you so much for taking the time to watch me. This is my 28th, I believe, podcast, and I really would like to add another live stream weekly, but I'd rather do something with a co-host, with someone. So if you're interested, hit me up. You can find me on Twitter. You can leave a comment on this. I'd rather not discuss, anything too awful, but I'm pretty much open for whatever. Anyways, have a fantastic weekend and be safe, be happy, but most importantly, don't be a Packers fan. Because, Packers, they just suck.